What's up everyone? How are you all? Today we are back with another Blazing Naruto story. What if Rinnegan Naruto abandoned by Kushina? If you enjoy this what if, then please like, share and do comment. And also check out our Patreon page. So let us start the story.
Chapter 1. The sun hung lazily above Kano Hagakure, casting a golden glow over the Hawkage compound. Laughter echoed across the courtyard, bright, warm, and painfully selective. Near the edge of a small training pond, Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze stood barefoot on the water's surface, her chakra rippling outward in controlled waves. With a sharp breath, she raised her hand. The water responded instantly. A sphere formed, trembling at first, then stabilizing into a perfect orb that floated just above her palm. "Dad, look," she called, her voice filled with pride that bordered on expectation. A flash of yellow appeared beside her, Minato Namikaze, smiling in a way reserved only for moments like this. He crouched beside her, eyes soft with approval. "You're improving faster than I expected," he said gently. "At this rate, you might surpass even your mother." From the doorway, Kushina Uzumaki leaned against the frame, arms crossed, but her expression betrayed her pride. Her gaze lingered on Narumi, glowing with something fierce and protective. The scene was perfect, too perfect, because just beyond the shade of a large tree someone else watched. Naruto Uzumaki stood there in silence, his back resting against rough bark, arms folded loosely but not comfortably. His blue eyes reflected the same scene, yet saw something entirely different, not warmth. Not family, just distance. His knuckles were scraped raw, a faint bruise darkened his cheek. Dried blood clung near his sleeve, remnants of something no one had asked about, no one ever did. Still the same, Naruto thought, his expression unreadable. They don't even try. A bitter exhale escaped him. The laughter near the pond grew louder. Naruto turned away. From his pocket, he pulled out a worn, almost fragile book, its edges frayed from constant use, sealing for advanced practitioners. His fingers traced the faded cover almost instinctively. This was his world, not the one behind him. If they won't teach me, he thought coldly, then I'll build myself from nothing. What? Evening came without announcement. The house filled with voices again, plates clinking, chairs shifting, casual conversations drifting through the halls. Naruto entered quietly. No one noticed. At the table, Narumi spoke animatedly about her training, reenacting her water technique with exaggerated gestures. Minato laughed softly. Kushina corrected her posture mid-story. It was alive. Naruto sat at the far end, no greeting, no acknowledgement. He ate quickly, mechanically. The warmth of the meal never reached him. When his bowl was empty, he stood, placed it in the sink, and walked away without a word. Behind him, the conversation never paused, not even for a second. His room was dim, silent, safe. Naruto closed the door and leaned against it, eyes shutting briefly as if holding something back. "I'm done waiting." The words were quiet, final. He moved to the center of the room, sitting cross-legged as his breathing slowed. Then, darkness swallowed him. Water cold. Endless, Naruto opened his eyes inside his mindscape, the familiar echo of dripping silence surrounding him. But this place, it wasn't the same as before, not anymore. The sewer-like corridors had been replaced. Now, a vast field stretched endlessly beneath a blood-red sky. Wind moved through tall grass, whispering secrets that didn't belong to humans. At the center, a figure stood, waiting, Kurama, but not the monster the world feared, not the beast trapped behind iron bars. She stood in human form, tall, composed, terrifyingly beautiful. Crimson hair danced like fire in her eyes carried something ancient, something dangerous. "You're late, Naruto," she said, her voice calm, but layered with something sharp beneath it. Naruto stepped forward unfazed. "I had things to deal with." "Oh?" Kurama studied him, not his face, not his posture, his soul. "You're changing," she murmured. Naruto didn't deny it. "Good," she added, a faint smile forming, "because what comes next requires more than just anger." The air shifted, the sky darkened further. Naruto frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" For the first time since he had met her. Kurama hesitated. That alone was enough to make Naruto's instincts scream. "There's something I haven't told you," she said slowly. A low rumble echoed across the field. The ground beneath Naruto's feet trembled, far in the distance. Something moved, not wind, not chakra, something alive, something massive. Naruto's eyes narrowed. "What is that?" Kurama's gaze hardened. "That is the consequence." The rumbling grew louder. The red sky cracked. Like glass, and from the fracture, a monstrous surge of chakra spilled through, violent and suffocating. Naruto staggered slightly, his breath catching. This chakra. His voice faltered, it felt familiar, too familiar. Kurama's voice dropped to a whisper. Cold, grim, your sister has started using my power. Silence then. A scream tore through the mindscape, not Naruto's, not Kurama's. Naruto's eyes widened in horror as the chakra surged violently. Because he recognized that scream, it belonged to Narumi, and it wasn't a scream of power, it was a scream of something breaking.
She finally touched the power, but no one warned her what it would take. Narumi smiling, training being praised, just cross a line she can't come back from. That chakra it was not meant for her, and now something inside her is breaking. While everyone celebrates her strength, Naruto is the only one who hears the truth. The scream was not power, it was pain. So tell me this, if the nine tails is split between them, then what happens when one half lose control, and more importantly, will Naruto save her or he will force to stop her? Chapter 2 begins now.
Chairortu. Night settled quietly over Konohagakure, but inside one isolated room, silence carried weight. Naruto's room was untouched by the rest of the house. No laughter reached here, no footsteps lingered outside the door. It existed like a separate world, carved out of neglect and shaped by solitude, and he preferred it that way. Naruto Uzumaki sat cross-legged in the center of the floor, surrounded by scattered scrolls, ink brushes, and incomplete seal arrays. The faint glow of a candle flickered across the markings, revealing layers of trial and error. Years had passed since his first meeting with Kurama, years of relentless training, not the kind given to academy students, not the kind taught with patience. Kurama's methods were unforgiving. His body had been pushed to its limits again and again until pain became familiar, until exhaustion stopped meaning anything. Strength wasn't given to him, it was forced out of him, and yet she never broke him, because breaking him would make him useless. Naruto exhaled slowly, steadying his breathing. His fingers moved with precision, adjusting the final stroke of a seal carved into parchment. The formula pulsed faintly, reacting to his chakra. A trigger seal, he murmured to himself. Area-based activation, delayed response. The idea was simple, anyone who stepped into its range would regret it, but simplicity didn't mean ease. Without a true master, every seal he created came at the cost of failure after failure. Still, this was where he excelled, Fuinjutsu, the one thing that felt natural, the one thing that didn't reject him. Naruto leaned back slightly, studying his work. A faint smirk touched his lips, getting closer. The academy, a waste of time. Half the lessons repeated things he had already surpassed years ago. The rest felt like distractions, designed to slow people down rather than sharpen them. So he slept through most of it, because real growth didn't happen in classrooms. It happened here, in silence, in isolation, in the shadows where no one cared enough to look. Later that night, Naruto's consciousness slipped inward once more. The field returned, the crimson sky, the wind that never felt natural. Kurama stood waiting. "You're distracted," she said immediately, her sharp gaze locking onto him. Naruto didn't deny it. Narumi. The name alone shifted the air. Kurama's expression darkened slightly. "So you felt it too." "That wasn't normal," Naruto replied. "That wasn't control. It wasn't supposed to be." Naruto's eyes narrowed. Kurama turned away, her voice quieter now, but heavier. "You think power is something you can divide cleanly?" she asked. "That chakra can be separated without consequence." Naruto didn't answer, because deep down, he already knew. "She's forcing something her body doesn't understand," Kurama continued, "and every time she uses it, something inside her fractures." A pause, then, and when it finally breaks. Naruto stepped forward, his voice low. "What happens?" Oh. Kurama looked back at him for the first time. There was no mockery, no amusement, only truth. "She won't be Narumi anymore." Silence swallowed the field. Naruto clenched his fists. "Then I'll stop it." Kurama's eyes sharpened. "You're planning something else too," she said. "Don't lie." Naruto exhaled slowly. "My birthday." Kurama didn't react. "I leave that day," Naruto continued. "Everything I need, I'll take it. Seals, jutsu, enough to survive." "And your family?" she asked. Naruto's expression didn't change. "I don't have one." For a moment, even Kurama said nothing. Then she sighed quietly. "Just don't take too long." Naruto smirked faintly. "You worried about me?" "Don't get ahead of yourself, brat." But her gaze lingered longer than usual. because even she could feel it. Time was running out. Years blurred past like fading echoes. Naruto remained distant, unreachable, but not entirely alone, somewhere along the way. Connections formed, unexpected ones. Itachi Uchiha, silent, observant, someone who understood more than he spoke. Tsuma Yuzuka and Hana Yuzuka, rough, honest, but real. And then there was Kurenai Yuhai. It had started with blood. Naruto had been running, feet pounding against stone, breath uneven, the sound of angry voices chasing him through the streets. He didn't look back, he didn't need to. He knew what waited if they caught him. But suddenly, everything stopped, the noise, the footsteps, the anger. Naruto froze. Slowly he turned. The villagers stood still, eyes empty, trapped. Genjutsu. Naruto whispered. A figure stepped forward. Red eyes, calm expression. Kurenai. She looked at him, not with fear, not with hatred, with something unfamiliar. You're Kushina's son, aren't you? Naruto hesitated. Yes. Her gaze flickered briefly to his injuries, then back to his eyes. You shouldn't be running alone like this. Naruto almost laughed, but he didn't. Instead, she turned and walked. Come on. Confused, wary, but with no better option. Naruto followed. The Namikaze house felt the same. Warm, loud, alive, just not for him. Kurenai noticed the way Naruto sat apart, the way no one called his name, the way silence clung to him even in a room full of voices. Something about it felt wrong, deeply wrong. And when she finally questioned it, the answers she received didn't sit well, not at all, that day. Something changed. Kurenai stopped being just an observer, and Naruto gained someone who saw him, even if only a little. Present day, final year at the academy. Narumi stood at the center of attention, as always. Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze had grown into someone impossible to ignore, confident, talented, admired. Beside her stood Ino Yamanaka and Hinata Hyuga, two of the few she trusted. You're still trying, Ino asked, arms crossed. Narumi sighed. I have to. Hinata tilted her head slightly. He might listen this time. Narumi looked down. What if he doesn't? For the first time, doubt crept into her voice because deep down, she knew she had waited too long. From the back of the classroom, Naruto watched, not them, not anyone, just everything, detached, cold, different, and Narumi noticed for the first time. She really noticed. What did we do to you? She whispered to herself then. An idea formed, something desperate, something risky. This time, she thought, clenching her fists, I won't let him walk away. Elsewhere, Kushina Uzumaki stood in a shop, staring blankly at a shelf. She held a scroll meant for Narumi, but her other hand was empty. What does Naruto even like? The question hit harder than expected because she didn't have an answer. We'll fix it, she muttered. On their birthday, we'll fix everything. Inside the Hawkage office, Minato Namikaze stared at a document, a request, a dangerous one. Approval for those involved in recent hunts. His hand hesitated, then he signed it. Forgive me, he whispered. The door burst open. Jiraiya stepped in, grinning slightly. I've got something interesting. Minato looked up. Jiraiya's expression shifted, serious now, a prophecy. The room grew still. A child, born from two powerful bloodlines, will ignite something that changes everything. Minato frowned slightly. Narumi. Jiraiya shrugged. Seems obvious, doesn't it? Minato nodded slowly. Yes, it does. But far away. Under a sky that wasn't real. Kurama stood alone, her gaze fixed on the horizon where cracks of chakra still bled through. Fools, she whispered, because they were all looking at the wrong child, and they didn't even realize it. Back in the real world. Naruto opened his eyes, a faint smile formed, cold, certain, just a little longer. But somewhere deep inside, something shifted, something unstable, something connected to Narumi, and this time, it didn't feel like a warning, it felt like the beginning. The unease didn't fade, it spread, like cracks forming beneath a perfect surface, silent, unnoticed, until everything collapsed. Inside the Namikaze residence, the air felt different that evening, heavier. Kushina Uzumaki stood near the kitchen counter, her fingers idly tracing the edge of a scroll she hadn't realized she'd been holding too tightly. Minato, she said quietly, Across the room, Minato Namikaze paused mid-motion, glancing toward her. What is it? She hesitated. I've been thinking about Naruto. The name lingered in the air, uncomfortable, unfamiliar. Minato exhaled slowly. So have I. For a moment neither spoke, then... We've left him alone for too long, Minato admitted. It's time we correct that. Kushina's eyes lifted, searching his face. You mean training him? He nodded. Our techniques, our legacy. If we start now, maybe we can bring him back into the family. Bring him back as if he had simply wandered too far, as if he hadn't been pushed there. Kushina forced a small smile. I was thinking the same thing. They clung to that idea because it was easier than confronting the truth. The door slid open later that evening. I'm home. Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze's voice carried warmth as she stepped inside. Kushina greeted her instantly, but her eyes searched past her. Where's Naruto? Narumi blinked. He left school early. I couldn't find him. A faint tension settled in the room, but it was quickly buried beneath hopeful distraction. They told Narumi the plan, training, family, a fresh start, and for a moment, her face lit up, really. Hope flickered in her eyes, maybe, just maybe. This time. The door opened again, quiet, slow. Naruto stepped inside. Naruto Uzumaki looked worse, bruises, scratches, a faint stiffness in his movements, evidence, ignored. Naruto, what happened? Kushina rushed forward. Naruto didn't even pause. Training accident. A lie, an obvious one, but no one challenged it, and that alone said enough. Naruto's eyes flickered briefly. Now they notice. The thought felt hollow. Dinner felt unnatural, forced. They waited for him. That alone unsettled him more than anything else. What is this? Naruto thought, staring down at his bowl. The silence stretched until Kushina broke it. How was school? Fine. One word, flat, dead. The conversation collapsed instantly, because they didn't know how to speak to him, and Naruto had long since stopped trying. After the meal, Naruto stood, walked away, almost free. Wait. Minato's voice stopped him. Naruto turned slowly. What? The living room felt colder somehow. Minato stepped forward, smiling faintly. Your birthday is close. Naruto said nothing. We've decided, starting after that day, you'll begin training with us. Silent. Narumi stepped forward quickly, her voice bright, too bright. That's amazing. Naruto and I will finally train together. No. The word cut through everything, clean, sharp, final. The room froze. Minato blinked. What? Naruto's gaze lifted, cold, unfamiliar. I said no. Narumi's smile faltered. W.I. Naruto exhaled slowly. You told me no first. The words hit harder than any shout. I asked again and again. Each word landed heavier. You made your choice. Silence pressed in, and now, Naruto's voice lowered, colder than before. I've made mine. Minato's thoughts spiraled. How could he refuse? Their power, their legacy, it was everything. And yet... You don't understand, Minato said, his voice tightening, what we're offering. I understand perfectly. Oh. Naruto's eyes sharpened. I don't want anything from you. The truth, unfiltered, unforgiving, inside. Kurama's voice echoed softly, still going through with it. Naruto didn't hesitate more than ever. What? That night, the house slept, but Naruto didn't. It's time, came Kurama's voice. Naruto frowned slightly. For what? Your gift. Something in her tone felt different, and my real name. Naruto stilled. What? Silence then. Natsui. The name lingered, soft, fragile. Why tell me now? Naruto asked quietly. Because after this, it won't matter. Naruto's chest tightened. What are you planning? Go to her room. Naruto's eyes widened slightly. What? Just trust me. What? Naruto moved silently through the hallway. Every step felt heavier than the last. He stopped outside Narumi's door, hesitated, then entered. She was curled tightly on her bed, shaking, crying, the sound. Barely audible, Naruto's expression flickered. Why? For a moment. He almost reached out, then. He stepped forward anyway. Do it, Natsui whispered. Naruto placed his hand over the seal, and everything changed. Darkness swallowed him, control shifted, power moved, and inside. Naruto felt it burning, tearing, changing. His very existence twisted under something ancient and overwhelming. He screamed. But no sound escaped, time lost meaning, pain became everything until it stopped. Naruto collapsed back into himself, breathing hard, shaking across from him. Natsui stood, fading. You idiot, Naruto whispered, voice breaking. Why? She smiled faintly, because you needed more than I could give. His fists clenched, stay. Her form flickered, I can't. Her voice weakened, you'll live, that's enough. Naruto stepped forward. But she was already fading. Goodbye, Naruto. And then, nothing. Naruto woke up alone for the first time. Truly alone. Morning came, Naruto stood before the mirror and froze, his eyes were no longer blue, they had changed, dark, deep, something beyond human. So this is your final gift, he whispered. His reflection didn't feel like his own. Hours later, the house filled with celebration, laughter, voices, life, but Naruto was already gone. A sealed envelope rested quietly on his bed, unopened, unnoticed. What? Far beyond the village walls. Naruto moved fast, silent, gone. Back at the house, the party continued until it didn't. A letter, a realization, a command, find him. And just like that, everything began to fall apart. Narumi stood frozen near the window, her chest tightened. Naruto. A voice answered, cold, unfamiliar. Stop pretending you didn't see this coming. Narumi's eyes widened. Who? Silence stretched, then a presence heavy, watching. You wanted to understand him, didn't you? The voice whispered again, then let me show you what you've done. Narumi's breath hitched because something inside her shifted, responded, awakened, and far away. Naruto stopped running, his new eyes pulsed faintly, as if reacting to something calling back.
Naruto is gone, no goodbye, no second chance, just a letter and silence. After a year of being ignored, he finally chose himself and walked away from everything. But that's not the only thing that changed. The moment he left, something awakened inside him, something powerful, something dangerous. And back in the village, Narumi is starting to hear a voice that knows the truth, a voice that might finally reveal what they have done to Naruto. So now the real question is Naruto becoming something far beyond their control? And is Narumi about to lose herself the same way? Chapter 3 is just getting started.
Chapter 3. The moment Naruto crossed the border, something unseen began to unravel, not just in him, not just in the village, but in the fragile balance that had barely been holding everything together. Inside the depths of Narumi's mind, darkness shifted, alive, watching, listening. Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze clenched her fists, her breath uneven as the voice echoed again. You still don't understand anything, do you? Show yourself, she snapped, her voice trembling between anger and fear. If you know something about Naruto, tell me. A low, amused chuckle answered her. You demand answers like you have the right to them. Narumi's teeth clenched. It's my mind. And yet I'm here. The darkness parted slightly, not fully. Just enough to reveal. Eyes ancient burning, Narumi froze. You're the Nine Tails. A pause, then. You finally catch on. Kurama's presence pressed against her consciousness like a storm held back by thin glass. Narumi's voice shook. If you're here, then what about Naruto? Silence, then. A sharp, mocking laugh. Relax, human, he's very much alive. Narumi staggered slightly, relief and confusion clashing violently. Then why are you here? Kurama's tone shifted, colder now, because he gave everything and I had nothing left to stay with him. Narumi's heart skipped. What? For a moment, something almost like regret flickered in the darkness. I used what remained of myself to give him a chance. Narumi's fists tightened. You're lying. Am I? Oh. The pressure increased. Tell me, where were you when he needed that chance? Narumi flinched. I tried. The words came out weaker than she intended. I've been trying. Kurama didn't respond immediately. Then, too late. The two words cut deeper than anything else. Narumi's eyes burned. No, I'll find him. Her voice steadied, stronger now. I don't care where he goes, I'll bring him back. Kurama laughed again, but this time. It wasn't mocking, it was curious. Bring him back. A pause, then. You really don't understand what he's become. What? Far beyond the walls of Konohagakure. Naruto ran, not away, forward. Every step carried purpose now. Every breath felt sharper, clearer. Freedom tasted unfamiliar. But real, almost there. The tree line thinned. The boundary approached, then... Naruto. His body reacted instantly. He stopped, turned, and saw her. Kurenai Yuhai stood a few meters behind him, her chest rising and falling rapidly, her eyes shining with something he hadn't expected. Why are you leaving? She demanded, her voice cracking. Naruto looked at her quietly. Because I have to. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting. Silence stretched between them. Kurenai stepped forward. You're not alone, Naruto. Naruto's expression didn't change. I was. The words landed heavier than any accusation. Kurenai flinched. Naruto continued, softer now. You and the others, you mattered. Her breath caught, but this village, his gaze hardened, never did. Kurenai closed her eyes briefly. If you leave. Naruto didn't respond, then don't forget us. That was all she said, no orders, no threats, just... That Naruto nodded once, I won't. And then, he moved past her, beyond her, and this time, no one stopped him. The forest swallowed him whole, and with it, Naruto Uzumaki of Konoha ceased to exist. 2 months later, the world didn't slow down for his absence. It moved on, just like it always did. Naruto stood near a quiet river, the early morning mist curling around his ankles. His reflection stared back at him, different, not just the eyes. Everything still feels strange, he muttered, flexing his fingers slightly. Power coiled beneath his skin like something alive. Watching, waiting, he exhaled. No point standing still. Oh. He turned and froze, voices loud, careless. Naruto moved silently through the trees, his presence fading into the shadows below. A group of men laughed around a makeshift camp, crates of stolen supplies, weapons scattered carelessly, and behind them, a cage. Naruto's gaze sharpened. Inside, women, young, old, terrified, so that's how it is. The air around him changed, colder, deadlier. One of the men dragged a girl out by her arm, laughing. Naruto's hand moved. A kunai slipped between his fingers. No hesitation, no warning. The blade flew. It struck cleanly, silence, then... Chaos. Naruto dropped from the tree like a shadow given form. By the time the first man reacted, it was already too late. Steel flashed, blood followed. Naruto moved without pause, without mercy. Each strike precise, efficient, final. They weren't opponents, they were obstacles, and obstacles were removed. Moments later, silence returned. Naruto stood alone among bodies, his breathing steady, unchanged. Too slow, he muttered then. A flicker of movement. Naruto turned, a blade pointed at him. Shaking, a girl trying to stand her ground. Don't come closer, she stammered. Naruto blinked once, then laughed, not cruel, not mocking, just unexpected. You're serious. She tightened her grip. I'll fight. Naruto tilted his head slightly. I just killed everyone who hurt you. The words didn't register immediately. Then, her eyes widened. You're not. Naruto sighed, walking past her. No. He tossed a set of keys into the air, catching them casually. I don't do that. The cage unlocked, metal creaked open. Get your people, we're leaving. The girls stared, unmoving, until one of them stepped forward, then another, and slowly. Hope replaced fear. Hours passed, the camp was stripped. Food, clothes, supplies, everything useful taken, the rest burned. Naruto stood near the fire, watching it consume what remained. A quiet end for men who deserved worse. Later, one of the older women approached him, carrying medical supplies. You're injured. Naruto glanced down briefly. It's nothing. It's still bleeding. He didn't argue. As she worked, the others watched him. Differently now, not as a threat, not as a stranger, but as something they didn't quite understand. Naruto, one of them repeated softly, as if trying to memorize the name. That night, the camp fell quiet. Naruto lay beneath the open sky, staring upward, for the first time since leaving. The silence felt heavier, Natsui. The name barely left his lips. No answer came, no voice, no presence, just emptiness. Naruto closed his eyes slowly. I'll figure it out. But deep down, he knew things had already begun moving beyond his control. Far away, inside Narumi, the darkness stirred again. He's changing faster than I expected. And this time, there was no doubt something far worse than distance now stood between them. The distance between them had already begun to twist into something unnatural. Something neither of them could control anymore, and neither of them fully understood. Morning came quietly, too quietly. Naruto's eyes opened slowly, his senses sharpening before his thoughts fully caught up. Something felt off, heavy, restricted. He shifted slightly. And froze. What? Two unfamiliar weights rested against his arms. Naruto turned his head. Two of the rescued girls lay beside him, their heads resting against him as if it were the most natural thing in the world. For a second, he didn't move, didn't speak. His mind tried to process it. Then failed. I don't remember this, he muttered under his breath. The movement stirred them. They woke almost instantly. And just as quickly, their faces turned red. We heard something in the forest. One of them rushed out, avoiding eye contact. And we got scared, so we came to check, and then... Her voice trailed off. Naruto stared at her for a moment, then looked away. Right. He didn't press, didn't care enough to, but something in his expression made it clear he didn't believe it either. Outside the tent, the others noticed immediately. Oh, one of the older women said, raising an eyebrow. Naruto stepped out first, calm, composed. The girls followed behind. Anything but nothing happened, Naruto said flatly, which somehow only made it worse. The journey back to their village didn't take long, but the moment they arrived, everything stopped. Don't move. Dozens of villagers surrounded Naruto instantly, weapons raised, whatever they could grab, pitchforks, knives, farming tools. Fear turned into aggression. We won't let you take anyone else. Naruto exhaled slowly. You're misunderstanding. Where is my daughter? The crowd surged, tension snapped. Stop. The voice cut through everything. The girls stepped forward from behind him. Alive, safe. The crowd froze, then chaos broke out again. But this time, relief replaced fear. You're safe. Thank the gods. What happened? The answer came quickly. He saved us. Silence followed. All eyes turned to Naruto. Recognition hit slowly. Then embarrassment. Oh. One of the men scratched his head awkwardly. Sorry about that. Naruto didn't react, didn't need to. They celebrated that night, not for him, but for survival, for relief, for something that had almost been taken. Naruto stayed on the edge of it all, watching, not joining, because this wasn't his place, it never was. The next morning, they asked him to stay just once. You could live here, one of them said, you'd be safe. Naruto shook his head. I'm the reason danger follows. That was the truth, and he wasn't going to lie about it. Goodbye. No hesitation, no attachment. He left the same way he had arrived, silently. Weeks turned into months, and stories began to spread. Not whispers, not rumors, something more solid, something people believed. Back in Konohagakure, the next generation gathered, as they often did. They're calling him the White Fox now, Ino Yamanaka said, reading from a report. Her tone carried curiosity. And something else. A vigilante who appears wherever people are in danger. Sounds fake, Sakura Haruno snapped immediately. Not necessarily, Shino Aburame added calmly. Patterns suggest consistency. What about that eye thing? Kiba and Yuzuka asked. Rin, whatever. Shikamaru Nara sighed. Rinnegan, it's not just rare, it's almost myth. All eyes turned to him. It supposedly grants control over multiple natures, even gravity itself. Silence, that's insane, Kiba muttered. It's also probably exaggerated, Shikamaru added, but not impossible. Across the room. Sasuke Uchiha scoffed, if he exists, I'll surpass him. Of course he would say that. Narumi stayed quiet, too quiet, because something inside her was reacting. It's him. The voice whispered again, Kurama. Or what remained of her, you feel it too, don't you? Narumi's heart pounded, Naruto. Hope surged, he's alive. And changing. The words carried weight, danger. Then we find him, Narumi whispered, her resolve hardened, no matter what. Far away. Naruto moved through the forest alone, cloaked in white, the symbol of a fox etched across his back, not a name he chose, but one he accepted because it fit, predator, watcher, judge. This again, he muttered, glancing at his nearly empty supplies. Even someone like him needed to survive. He shifted direction, toward the nearest settlement. There he is. Naruto stopped. A man approached him, wide-eyed, behind him. A child peeked out nervously. You're the white fox, right? Naruto tilted his head slightly. That's what people call me. The man smiled immediately. My name is Yashiko. This is my daughter. The girl said nothing, just watched. Naruto, he replied simply. The name felt distant now, like it belonged to someone else. They offered him a ride, he accepted, not because he needed it, but because it was easier for once. Time passed slowly, quietly, and for a brief moment. Naruto allowed himself something unfamiliar, a pause. But far away. Inside Narumi. The darkness stirred again, stronger now, closer. You're running out of time. Narumi clenched her fists, then I'll find him faster. But even as she said it, something inside her twisted violently, pain, raw, uncontrolled, and far across the distance. Naruto stopped walking, his eyes flickered. That same pain. Echoed, connected. Neither of them understood it yet, but something had already begun, something that couldn't be undone. That connection. It didn't fade, it sharpened, like a thread pulled too tight between two souls that were never meant to share the same weight. Naruto felt it again, a pulse, sharp, unnatural. It flickered through his chest for only a moment. But it was enough, Narumi. The name slipped out quietly, almost instinctively. He didn't understand it, didn't want to, so he ignored it, like everything else tied to that past. The road continued, days blurred into quiet movement between forests and forgotten paths, and somewhere along that road. Naruto had stopped being alone, not completely. Yashiko talked too much. Ayaki watched everything too closely, and Naruto stayed somewhere in between, distant but present. Hey Naruto-kun, Ayaki's voice cut through the trees as she looked up toward him. He sat on a high branch, scanning the path ahead. How much longer? Naruto glanced toward the horizon. About 30 minutes. Ayaki groaned loudly. That's forever. Yashiko chuckled. Then stopped. Wait. The air shifted. Naruto felt it too, a disturbance, subtle. But wrong, the forest had gone quiet, too quiet, then. Footsteps fast, desperate, a figure burst through the trees, a girl, red hair, blue kimono, running like something was chasing her because something was. Naruto dropped from the branch instantly. Hey, what's wrong? She staggered to a stop, breath ragged. Can't stop there. Her words broke apart under panic. Naruto didn't need the full sentence, he already understood, and then. Voices behind her, two shinobi emerged from the trees. Their presence alone carried hostility. Predators who had already decided their prey, found her. Naruto stepped forward, calm, unmoving. You're chasing her. One of them scoffed, move aside. Naruto didn't. Why? The question irritated them more than it should have, because she's valuable. The other smirked, a bloodline user. The word lingered, dirty, hated. People pay well for that kind of thing. Something inside Naruto shifted, cold, dangerous, so that's all. No justice, no reason, just profit. Naruto's eyes darkened, wrong answer. They moved first, a mistake. Water surged, a jutsu forming midair. only to be crushed instantly. Invisible force, absolute. The attack shattered before reaching him. The forest trembled, both shinobi froze. What? Naruto stepped forward, slow, controlled, terrifying. You hunt people like animals. His voice dropped, then don't complain when something stronger hunts you. The space around them warped, pulled. One of them was dragged forward. Straight into Naruto's waiting blade, it ended instantly. No hesitation, no struggle. The second one broke. Fear overtook instinct. He ran. Naruto watched him go and let him, because fear spread faster than corpses. Silence returned, heavy. Naruto exhaled slowly, then turned back. You're safe now. The girl stared at him, not just in relief, in disbelief. Because what she had just witnessed wasn't normal. Who are you? Naruto didn't answer immediately. Then, Naruto. Simple enough, she nodded slowly. My. Her voice steadied slightly, but her thoughts raced. He's strong, too strong. And something else. Something far more dangerous. I need him. Naruto studied her briefly, not her appearance, her condition, exhaustion, stress, fear barely held together. You're from the mist. It wasn't a question. Mai hesitated, then nodded. There's a purge happening. Naruto's gaze sharpened. Bloodlines, she continued quietly. Anyone who has one is hunted. The words carried weight, reality, not rumor. So we fight back. Naruto didn't speak, didn't react immediately, but inside, something aligned. This wasn't random violence, this was systematic, controlled, and that made it worse. You want help. Mai looked straight at him, yes. No hesitation now, because she knew. He could change everything. Naruto closed his eyes briefly, thinking, calculating, then. All right. Mai's breath caught. You're serious. Naruto opened his eyes. I don't like people who think they can decide who deserves to exist. That was enough. He turned toward Yashiko and Ayaki. I'll take you to the next village first. Yashiko frowned, and then what? Naruto didn't sugarcoat it. I leave. Ayaki's expression dropped slightly, but Yashiko smiled. Then we're coming with you. Naruto blinked once. What? Yashiko crossed his arms. If there's a chance to help fix something like that, why wouldn't we? Ayaki nodded quickly, and we can help. Naruto studied them both, weighed the risk, then sighed, do what you want. But he didn't stop them. They moved together now, toward something bigger, something dangerous. Far away. Inside Narumi. The pain surged again, stronger, closer. She dropped to one knee, gripping her chest. What is this? The voice answered immediately. He just made a choice. Narumi's eyes widened. You can feel him. A pause, then. Not just me. Narumi's breath caught, because for the first time, she felt it clearly. Naruto, not distant, not fading, but changing, becoming something else, something that might not come back. Back in the forest. Naruto stopped walking for a brief moment, that same pulse, stronger now. He frowned slightly. Then kept moving, because whatever that connection was, it wasn't enough to stop him. But it was enough to warn him.
Naruto didn't just leave the village, he chose a new path, a path filled with blood, rebellion, and war. Now he's stepping into the hidden mist, darkest conflict where people are haunted, spying for who they are. And Naruto, he's about to become the things that changes everything. But at the same time, something terrifying is happening. Narumi can feel him, his pain, his power, his transformation, and that connection it's only getting stronger. So now the question is, when Naruto finally stand at the center of war, will he still be the same person or has already become something else entirely? Chapter 4 is just the beginning.
Chapter 4. Power didn't just shape the battlefield. It rotted the foundation beneath it, while Naruto moved forward into war. Something far darker had already taken root behind him. Inside the Hawkage Tower of Konohagakure, the atmosphere was colder than usual, not because of weather, but because of intent. Minato Namikaze sat at the head of the chamber, his expression calm, composed, controlled, across from him. The civilian council, watching, measuring. So, Minato spoke evenly, how stable is the situation? One of the council members leaned forward, fingers interlocked. The situation has improved. Minato's eyes narrowed slightly. Explain. The target has been removed. They didn't say Naruto's name. They didn't need to. The village sentiment remains unchanged. The people continue to direct their hatred toward him. A pause, then. And Narumi, Minato asked. Another member answered this time, voice filled with certainty. She remains untouched by suspicion. In fact, her reputation has improved. Minato leaned back slowly. A faint smile touched his lips. Good. The word carried weight, not relief, not happiness, approval, calculated, cold. Then we proceed as planned. Silence followed because everyone in that room understood. There was always a plan. One of the council members tilted his head slightly. And your wife. Minato didn't hesitate. She doesn't need to know. No hesitation, no guilt, just fact. She never questioned anything before. She won't start now. Oh. Another voice spoke, quieter, and the Uzumaki inheritance. Minato's gaze sharpened. It stays where it belongs. That answer ended the discussion. They began to leave, one by one, unaware. They weren't alone. In the shadows, a presence lingered, silent, observing, listening, and when the room emptied, it moved. So this is the truth. The voice was low, controlled, dangerous, then gone, elsewhere, inside the Namikaze home. Silence had taken on a different meaning, not peaceful, not calm, empty. Kushina Uzumaki sat alone, her hands clenched tightly in her lap. Her thoughts wouldn't stop. They circled endlessly. Naruto's face, Naruto's voice, Naruto walking away. Why didn't I see it sooner? Regret wasn't new, but now it consumed her. I would have fixed it, she whispered to herself. I would have made it right. But deep down, she knew she had waited too long. Mom. Kushina looked up. Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze stood in the doorway, hesitant, uneasy. What is it? Narumi swallowed slightly. She wants to talk to you. Kushina frowned. Who? Narumi's eyes flickered. Kurama. The name alone changed everything. Moments later, the ground beneath them lit up, seals spread outward. Complex, ancient, alive, and then they were gone. They stood inside a familiar place, cold, damp, echoing, a prison, Kurama's domain, but something felt different, less restrained, more aware. Two massive eyes opened in the darkness, watching them, judging them. You finally came. Narumi stepped forward first. You said you had something to tell us. Kurama didn't respond immediately. Then Naruto found something. The name alone tightened the air. Kushina's breath hitched. What do you mean? Kurama's gaze sharpened. In the Hokage's office. Silence a secret. Kushina's expression changed instantly. That's not possible. Kurama laughed softly. That's what makes it interesting. Narumi stepped forward. What kind of secret? A pause, then. One that involves both of you. The weight of those words settled heavily, and power. Kushina's hands clenched. Be specific. Kurama's eyes narrowed slightly. I don't remember everything. Frustration flickered, but I remember enough. The air shifted. You're being manipulated. Silent. Narumi's heart pounded. By who? Kurama's voice dropped. That's for you to find out. Kushina's eyes hardened. Why tell us this? Kurama didn't smile, didn't soften, because Naruto wanted you to know. That hit harder than anything else, even after everything. Kushina's breath faltered. He's still. Don't misunderstand. Kurama cut her off instantly. I'm not doing this for you. Her voice sharpened. I'm doing this because he chose to care, even when he shouldn't have. The hostility returned, stronger, and don't expect anything more. Narumi stepped back slightly. You won't help us. Kurama's gaze burned, not unless you prove you deserve it. Silence followed, heavy, final. The world shifted again, and they were back. Kushina didn't waste time, we search. Narumi nodded immediately, because now they couldn't ignore it. Days passed, then weeks. The house was torn apart quietly, every drawer, every scroll, every hidden space, until finally they found it. A compartment hidden beneath Minato's desk. Narumi's fingers trembled slightly as she opened it. Inside, a scroll, small, simple, unremarkable, until they read it. Silence filled the room, thick, unbearable. This. Narumi's voice shook. This is real. Kushina didn't respond because she couldn't. Her hands tightened around the scroll. A plan. Her voice dropped, involving us. Narumi's eyes burned. He hid this from us. The truth settled in, slowly, painfully. We need more, Kushina said finally. Narumi looked at her, more proof. Because this wasn't enough, not yet. Which meant they had to go deeper. The Hawkage Tower, Narumi whispered. Kushina nodded, and we're not going alone. The next day, they stood inside Minato's office, silent, waiting, then. Kushina spoke softly, Tsuyoshi. The air shifted instantly. A presence appeared, tall, imposing, silent as death, an ANBU. His gaze moved from Kushina to Narumi, cold, assessing. Narumi felt it immediately. This man wasn't ordinary. Who is he? She asked quietly. Kushina didn't look away from him. Someone your father trusts. A pause, then. And someone who might help us uncover the truth. The ANBU said nothing, but his eyes. They had already chosen a side. And somewhere far away. Naruto stopped again, that same pull, stronger now, more insistent. What is this? For the first time. He didn't ignore it because this time. It didn't feel like a memory, it felt like something reaching back. That pull, it didn't weaken, it deepened, like two paths being dragged toward the same point, whether they wanted it or not. Inside the Hawkage's private office, the air felt suffocating, not because of chakra, but because of truth. Kushina Uzumaki stood still, the scroll trembling slightly in her grip. Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze stood beside her, eyes locked on the same words. Words that refused to make sense. This isn't real. But it was every line, every detail, every carefully written piece of betrayal. Behind them, the ANBU operative, Tsuyoshi, remained silent, his presence steady, but his gaze sharpened. Kushina's voice came out low. He planned it. Not a question, not doubt, realization, from the beginning. Narumi's fists clenched. We were never family to him. The silence that followed was heavier than any scream. Kushina forced herself to keep reading, each line cutting deeper than the last. Not love, not destiny, just strategy, control, ownership, her existence. Reduced to a resource, her children. Measured by usefulness, Narumi's breath shook. They used Naruto. The words tasted like poison. They let them hurt him. Kushina's grip tightened until the paper crumpled slightly, and we let it happen. That truth hurt the most. A moment passed, then another, until finally. Kushina exhaled slowly, and something inside her snapped, not loudly, not violently, just, "Gone, we're leaving." Narumi looked at her. What? Kushina's eyes no longer carried hesitation. We don't belong here. Not anymore, not after this. Tsuyoshi stepped forward slightly. You understand what that means. Kushina didn't look at him. Yes. Narumi's voice followed. Then we don't stay. The decision was made, without discussion, without doubt. Days passed quickly, quiet preparations, careful movements, money secured, documents arranged, everything they needed to disappear. And then, the confrontation. Minato Namikaze barely had time to react. Kushina. Slab. The sound echoed through the room, sharp, final. Minato's head turned slightly from the impact, his eyes widening in disbelief. What? How long? Kushina's voice trembled, not with weakness, but with restrained fury. How long were you planning to use us? Minato froze for the first time. He didn't have an answer ready. Narumi stepped forward. Say something. Silence, and in that silence, everything was confirmed. Kushina laughed, but there was no humor in it. I trusted you. Her voice cracked. I built a life with you. Minato's expression hardened slightly. This isn't what you think. Then explain it. Narumi's voice broke through. Explain why Naruto was treated like nothing. Minato's jaw tightened. He was unstable. The wrong answer, the worst answer. Kushina's eyes went cold. You're done. Oh. The words carried no hesitation, no emotion left. We're leaving. Minato stepped forward. You can't. I can. Kushina pulled out a document, official, sealed. We're no longer under your authority. Minato's eyes flickered just for a moment, but it was enough. Goodbye. No tears, no second chances, just... And they walked out, and this time, neither of them looked back. A week later, something new began inside Konohagakure. Not a clan, not officially, but something close enough. A place where those who refused to follow the system gathered. A place where loyalty wasn't forced, where strength wasn't exploited. Narumi stood at its center, not as a symbol, not as a weapon, but as someone trying to become more than what they made her. Still, the pressure didn't disappear. It changed form. Sasuke Uchiha still watched her, still approached her, still carried expectations that had nothing to do with her as a person. Narumi ignored it because now she understood. They're still trying to control you, Kurama's voice echoed within her. Narumi closed her eyes briefly. I know. Then stop letting them. Narumi exhaled slowly. I will. But even as she said it, her thoughts drifted to him, Naruto. The name felt heavier now, different. I should have gone with you. Regret lingered, sharp, unforgiving. Far away, Naruto stood at the edge of a rising conflict. The Mist Rebellion loomed ahead, war waiting to begin, but even here, even now, he felt it again, that connection, stronger, pulling. What are you doing? He muttered under his breath, because whatever Narumi was uncovering, it was reaching him, and whatever he was becoming, it was reaching her. Two paths, two truths, two storms building toward each other. And when they finally collided, nothing would survive unchanged.
Everything was lie. The family Naruto believed in never existed. Minato did not protect them, he used them. Kusina was not loved, she was chosen, and Naruto was sacrificed. Now the truth is out. Kusina and Narumi have turned their backs on everything they once trusted. But here is the real twist. Naruto can feel it, even from miles away. Their awakening is reaching him, and whatever he is becoming is reaching back. So now ask yourself, when these three finally meet again, will it be a reunion or the beginning of something far more dangerous? Chapter 5 is where everything starts to break.
Chapter 5. Truth didn't just destroy illusions. It left scars behind, scars that refused to fade, scars that forced you to look at who you used to be and who you had allowed yourself to become. The new Uzumaki residence stood quiet on the edge of Konohagakure, not hidden, not secret, but distant enough to feel like a different world, inside. Silence lingered between mother and daughter, not uncomfortable, just heavy. Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze broke it first. Mom. Kushina Uzumaki looked up. Narumi hesitated for a moment. Then, why did you say Tsuyoshi is like family? Kushina didn't answer immediately. Narumi's voice tightened. You said that so easily. Her gaze dropped slightly, but Naruto was our family too. Silent, and we treated him like he didn't exist. The words didn't accuse, they didn't need to, they just existed. Kushina's expression faltered. Did you treat Tsuyoshi better than him? That question cut deeper than anything else. Kushina closed her eyes briefly. Yes. No excuses, no denial, just truth. Narumi's breath hitched slightly. Kushina exhaled slowly. I wasn't thinking for myself back then. Her voice softened. I was following someone else's will. Narumi didn't need to ask who. Minato Namikaze. Kushina's hands clenched slightly. He saved me once. Her gaze drifted, and I let that define everything. Her voice lowered. I stopped questioning him. Stopped thinking, stopped seeing. Even when people tried to pull me back, I pushed them away. Oh. Narumi stayed silent because she understood now, not fully, but enough. Kushina looked at her again. That doesn't excuse anything. Her voice hardened, and I'll spend the rest of my life fixing it. A pause, then. If Naruto even lets me. The uncertainty lingered, heavy, real. Narumi crossed her arms slightly. That still doesn't explain Tsuyoshi. Kushina blinked once, then sighed faintly. Right. Her expression shifted, softer. I saved his life. The memory came back clearly. A battlefield, chaos, blood. Young Kushina moved through enemy lines with precision and fury, her chakra chains tearing through opposition like threads snapping under tension. Beside her, a younger Tsuyoshi fought, focused, relentless, until one mistake, one moment. One enemy that hadn't stayed down, steel pierced through him, clean, brutal, final. He fell, and for a second, everything slowed. Then Kushina moved faster than thought, faster than regret. The enemy didn't even see it coming. And when Tsuyoshi looked up, she was there, holding him, refusing to let him disappear. Stay alive, she had told him, not a request, a command. The memory faded. After that, Kushina said quietly, he never left my side. Narumi nodded slowly, because to him, you're the reason he's alive. Kushina gave a faint smile, something like that. The silence returned, but this time, it felt different, less heavy, more understood. Elsewhere, Naruto walked forward. The road didn't change, but the purpose did. Hey Naruto-kun. Ayaki's voice carried easily as she leaned out from the cart. How much longer? Naruto glanced ahead, not far. Yashiko stretched slightly. Good, my legs were starting to hate me. The tension was lighter here, simpler, no hidden motives, no expectations, just movement and conversation. Beside them, I walked quietly, listening, observing, fitting in faster than she expected, because for the first time in a long time, no one was hunting her, no one was judging her, they were just talking. This is nice, she thought quietly, then her eyes drifted toward Naruto and stayed there, too nice. Her heart skipped slightly. He saved me. That fact alone made everything more complicated. He didn't hesitate. Didn't question, didn't ask for anything in return. Who does that? Her cheeks warmed slightly. And why am I thinking about this so much? Naruto glanced at her. You okay? Mai froze. Why, yeah. Too fast, too obvious. Naruto frowned slightly. You're red. Mai turned away instantly. I'm fine. Naruto reached out instinctively, placing a hand lightly against her forehead. You don't have a fever. That made it worse, much worse. Mai's entire face burned. I said I'm fine. Naruto pulled his hand back slowly. All right. Still confused, still unaware. Inside the cart, Ayaki smirked. You're terrible at hiding it. Mai blinked. Hiding what? Ayaki leaned closer slightly. You like him. Silence then. I do not. Ayaki laughed. Sure. Mai crossed her arms, face still red. It's not like that. A pause, then quieter. Maybe a little. Ayaki's grin widened a little. The journey continued, but something had changed, subtly, quietly. Far ahead, the air grew heavier, colder, different. Inside a large tent. Maps covered the table, markers, movements, war at the center. Mei Terumi stood still, listening. We lost contact with her. The words hung in the air. What do you mean lost? Her voice was calm, too calm. Mai was last seen heading toward a nearby settlement. Silence then. Land. The answer came slowly. There's a high chance she was captured. That was enough. The room shifted instantly. Meeting S over. Her voice cracked slightly. Leave. No one argued, no one stayed, because they understood. This wasn't about war anymore. When the tent emptied, May didn't move, didn't breathe, didn't think then. Her voice broke, quiet, alone. Back in Konoha, the next generation gathered again. Hey, let's check something. Kiba and Yuzuka flipped open a book quickly. That white fox guy. Curiosity spread instantly. You're still on that, Sakura Haruno muttered. Just look. Kiba scanned quickly. Then froze. He's real. The words dropped heavily. What? Hinata Hyuga whispered. Kiba turned the page toward them. Narumi stepped forward and read, silently, carefully. No name, no origin, no allegiance, just a title, a threat, a presence. Narumi's grip tightened slightly. Naruto. She didn't say it out loud, but she felt it, knew it, because that connection was no longer faint. Far away. Naruto stopped walking, his eyes narrowed slightly. So they've noticed. Not fear, not concern, just awareness. Because the moment his name became known, everything would change. And this time, there would be no hiding. The moment a name becomes known, it stops being a shadow and starts becoming a target. The silence after the bingo entry lingered longer than anyone expected. No one laughed, no one dismissed it, because this time, it was real. Narumi's fingers tightened slightly on the page, not enough for others to notice, but enough for her. Naruto. She didn't need confirmation anymore. The description, the timing, the power, it all aligned too perfectly. Beside her, Shino Aburame adjusted his glasses slightly. This individual is dangerous. His tone remained calm, but the weight behind it had changed. He's already eliminated trained shinobi. Yeah, well, Kiba and Yuzuka scoffed, trying to recover his confidence. That doesn't mean he can't be beaten. Shino didn't even look at him. It means underestimating him would be fatal. Kiba clicked his tongue. You worry too much. But even he didn't sound fully convinced. Across the group, Ino Yamanaka crossed her arms. 400,000 ryo. Her eyes narrowed slightly. That's not small. It means he's already considered a threat, Hinata Hyuga added quietly. Narumi said nothing, because her focus wasn't on the bounty or the threat level, it was on something else. He's alone. The realization settled deep, heavy, still alone. Inside her, Kurama's voice echoed softly, not the same as before. Narumi's breath slowed. I know. Because she could feel it, that connection, stronger now, sharper. Naruto wasn't just surviving, he was changing. Elsewhere, Kurenai Yuhai closed her bingo book slowly, her expression unreadable. So that's what you've become. Not disappointment, not fear, just understanding. She had already known the truth about the council, about Minato, about Naruto. Now, the world was starting to catch up. You're not hiding anymore. Her gaze lifted slightly. Good. Because hiding had never suited him. Her thoughts drifted back to the meeting she had once witnessed, the lies, the manipulation, the cold calculations behind every decision. On this village, she exhaled slowly. We let it become this. And no, fixing it wouldn't be simple. Far away, the road finally began to change. The air grew colder, heavier, different. Naruto noticed immediately. We're close. Naruto Uzumaki stepped forward slightly, his gaze scanning the terrain ahead, behind him. Yashiko stretched his arms. About time. Ayaki groaned. 10 hours of travel should be illegal. Mai didn't complain. Her eyes were fixed ahead. We're near the perimeter. Naruto glanced at her, mining. Mai's expression grew serious. Guards. That was enough. Naruto nodded once. Then you talk. Mai blinked slightly. You trust me. Naruto didn't hesitate. You got us this far. Simple, direct. But for Mai, it meant more than it should have, right? It didn't take long, the moment they crossed a certain line. They were surrounded, blades drawn, eyes sharp. Stop right there. Mai stepped forward immediately. It's me. The reaction was instant, shock, recognition. Mai. The tension didn't disappear, but it shifted everyone out of the cart. Naruto stepped down last, and when they saw him, the reaction changed again, not recognition, not relief, something else, caution. They were escorted the rest of the way, no resistance, no arguments, just silence. The rebel base wasn't hidden, it didn't need to be, because anyone who found it was already involved. And waiting at its center, May Terumi, her eyes locked onto my instantly. Is it really you? Oh. Her voice almost broke, but she held it together. Answer me. I stepped forward, we always said the same thing. A pause, then. Because we are the lava. Silence, then. Everything collapsed. May closed the distance instantly, pulling Mai into a tight embrace. You're alive. No control, no restraint, just relief. Mai winced slightly. Sis can't breathe. That snapped May back. She stepped back immediately, regaining composure. Leader again. Her gaze shifted to the others. You brought her back. Her tone hardened slightly. Why? Yashiko stepped forward first, bowing slightly. We seek trade. Simple, honest, support in exchange for a future place. May considered it, then nodded slightly. Possible. Her attention shifted again. Naruto stepped forward. Naruto. No title, no disguise, just his name. I heard what you're fighting for. His gaze didn't waver. I want in. Silence filled the room. May studied him carefully, measuring, calculating. You understand what that means. Naruto didn't blink. Yes. A pause, then. We'll discuss it. Not acceptance, not rejection, but consideration. They turned to leave, but as Naruto stepped forward, something caught the room's attention, the symbol on his back, the white cloak, the presence. Wait. Recognition hit. You're the white fox. Naruto paused briefly, then shrugged slightly. That's what they call me. No pride, no denial, just fact, and then he walked out. The room remained silent long after. Because now, everything had changed. You trust him, one of the council members asked quietly. Mai didn't hesitate. Yes. Her voice carried certainty because she had seen it, felt it. He saved me. That was enough. Later, inside a quieter space, May watched her carefully. Naruto-kun. The tone was teasing, knowing. Mai froze. It's not like that. May smiled. Of course not. The silence stretched, then. You like him. Mai turned away instantly. No. Too fast, too obvious. May laughed softly. You always were easy to read. Mai said nothing because denying it was becoming harder. Outside, Naruto stood alone beneath the night sky. His eyes lifted slightly. The connection pulsed again. Stronger, closer. You're getting closer. Oh. He didn't know how he knew, but he did, and this time, he didn't ignore it. Because whatever was coming wasn't something he could run from.
Naruto is no longer hiding. The world finally know him as the White Fox, and named feared by enemies and whispered by allies. And now he's stepping into war, joining a rebellion that could change an entire village. But that's not the only thing happening. Because far away, Naruto can feel him. A stronger, closer, different. Whatever Naruto is becoming, it's pulling her toward him. And this time, there is no stopping it. So ask yourself, when they finally meet again, will Naruto still be the boy he's trying to save? Or the man the world has already begun to fear? Chapter 6 is where everything collides.
Chapter 6. A name could open doors, or it could paint a target on your back. Naruto had learned that much already. What he hadn't learned yet was how quickly people would try to use that name once they realized its value. Morning broke over the rebel encampment in the hidden mist's outskirts. Tension lingered beneath the surface, not fear, not doubt, but calculation. Inside the command tent, the council had gathered again, this time with Naruto standing at the center of their attention. Naruto Uzumaki remained calm, arms loosely at his sides, his white cloak falling naturally behind him. The fox symbol was visible, deliberately, because now It mattered. May Terumi stepped forward. We've made our decision. Oh. Her voice was steady, controlled. First, her gaze shifted to Yashiko and Ayaki. Your trade proposal is accepted. Relief exploded instantly. Yashiko practically lit up. You hear that? We finally have a place. Ayaki laughed, grabbing his arm. We're not wandering anymore. For a moment, the tension in the room softened because hope, even small, was contagious. Then they turned back to Naruto, and just like that, the atmosphere shifted again. As for you, her eyes sharpened slightly. We need to understand exactly who we're bringing into this war. Naruto didn't move. Fair. We'll test your abilities, May continued, and until we trust you fully, you'll be monitored. Naruto nodded once, expected. A pause, then. There's also one question. Oh. Naruto tilted his head slightly. Go ahead. May didn't hesitate. Are you the white fox? Silence filled the tent, every gaze locked onto him. Waiting, measuring, Naruto exhaled slowly. That's what people call me. Not pride, not denial, just acceptance. But my name is Naruto. The distinction mattered more than they realized. Across the table, the council exchanged subtle glances, because now their thoughts aligned. If he's with us, people will follow. If word spreads, support increases. Naruto didn't need to hear it. He could feel it, and he ignored it. There's something else, one of the council members added carefully. Naruto glanced at him. You're listed. Naruto frowned slightly. Listed. In the bingo records. That caught everyone off guard. Mai stepped forward instantly. What? May answered calmly. He's marked as a rogue operative. Naruto blinked once, then understood. The mist ninja. Mai's eyes widened. The ones chasing me. The realization hit. They reported it. Naruto shrugged slightly. Makes sense. No regret, no hesitation, just consequence. One of the council members stepped forward. Then we owe you more than thanks. Naruto waved it off lightly. I didn't do it for that. That answer caught Mei's attention because it didn't sound like strategy, it sounded like truth. Interesting, she thought quietly, then, aloud, let's move on. Her focus sharpened again. Your abilities. Naruto didn't hesitate. Mid to high-level combat across most fields. Simple, direct. I specialize in seals. That drew a few looks, and I have access to certain techniques. He paused briefly, then, including space-time movement. The room shifted, subtly but noticeably, and then, and my bloodline. Silence. Naruto's eyes changed, deep purple, rippled, unnatural. The air itself seemed to distort slightly. The Rinnegan revealed itself. No one spoke because for a moment, no one could. That's not. One of them started. Impossible, another finished. May stared, not in disbelief, but in realization. So it's real. Naruto didn't respond, because the answer was already in front of them. The eyes faded, the pressure lifted, but the impact remained. All right, May said finally, her voice steadier now. You'll be tested later. Oh. Naruto nodded, understood. But first, she continued, you have a task. Naruto looked at her. We need supplies. He didn't react. We can't force villages to support us, she explained. Not yet. A pause, but you. Her gaze flicked to his cloak. You might convince them. Naruto understood immediately. You want me to be seen. Exactly. Naruto exhaled slowly, then nodded. Fine. What? The mission began quickly. No delay, no hesitation. Naruto moved with a small squad through nearby settlements, each time. The same pattern, a speech, a request, a promise of change, and behind it, the presence of the white fox. Some villagers stepped forward, others stayed back. Fear still lingered, because rebellion always came with consequences. But even so, they gathered supplies, food, medicine, support, not enough, but enough to matter. By the time they returned, the sun had already begun to set. Naruto stepped into the camp again, unchanged, but watched more closely now. Inside the command tent, Mei reviewed the results better than expected. She looked up. You made an impression. Naruto shrugged slightly. They chose. Mei studied him for a moment, then, "You're staying." Not a question, Naruto nodded once. Mei added, her tone shifted slightly. "Show him where he'll be staying." Mai blinked, then nodded quickly, "Right." The walk was quiet for a moment, then, "Well, thanks." Naruto glanced at her. "For what?" Mai smiled faintly. "Everything." Naruto didn't answer, because he didn't know how to. She stopped at a small tent. "Here." Naruto nodded. "Good enough." Mai lingered for a second, then turned. "See you tomorrow." Naruto watched her go, then stepped inside. 2 days passed, quiet, observant, waiting. But beneath that calm, something was building. Far away, Narumi suddenly froze, her hand pressed against her chest. There it is again. Stronger, closer, unavoidable. And for the first time, Naruto felt it too, clear, sharp, connected. Neither of them spoke, but both understood. Something was coming. That connection. It wasn't just a feeling anymore, it was interference, a signal, something alive between them. And as Naruto stood in the rebellion camp, preparing for what came next, Narumi, miles away, felt the same pressure tightening around her chest. Two worlds, one thread pulling harder. Back in the rebel camp, the decision had already been made. Naruto would be tested, not for skill alone, but for truth. Inside the command tent, Terumi gave the order calmly. "Training ground 3, 1 hour." Naruto Uzumaki nodded once and left without question, but the moment he stepped outside, Mei's expression changed. "He's holding back." The council didn't disagree. "We need to see what he really is." She turned slightly. "Bring Atsuki." A pause, the Jonin. Mei's gaze hardened. "Exactly." Elsewhere. Mai moved quickly through the camp. Confusion lingered in her mind. Why him? But she didn't question it, not yet, because a part of her didn't want the answer. Training ground 3. The air felt heavier than usual, not because of weather, because of expectation. Naruto stepped into the clearing first, calm, focused, watching. Moments later, Atsuki arrived, tall, built. His presence carried experience. Naruto recognized instantly. That's not a Chunin. Naruto thought quietly, but he didn't react, didn't question, because this was expected. Around them, observers gathered, silent, waiting. Mei stepped forward. "Rules are simple." Her voice carried across the field. 3 hours, or until one of you can't continue. Naruto nodded. Atsuki said nothing. "I'll begin." They moved instantly. Steel clashed, fast, precise. Naruto met him head-on. No hesitation, no fear. Blades collided again and again, neither gaining ground, neither giving it. Atsuki smiled slightly. "You're not bad." Naruto smirked faintly. "Same to you." Then, they shifted distance, space, and jutsu followed. Water surged forward. Fast, controlled, Naruto countered without pause. The battlefield adapted instantly. Mist spread. Vision disappeared. "Let's see you fight blind," Atsuki's voice echoed. Naruto stood still, then laughed. "You really think that's enough?" He moved upward, breaking through the mist, and struck. Lightning crashed downward. The battlefield exploded with energy. Atsuki hit the ground, burned, still moving. Checkmate. Naruto landed lightly, but the fight wasn't over. A sudden impact. Violent, unexpected. A water construct slammed into him, launching him backward through trees. Naruto hit hard, then stood. Not bad. Atsuki charged again, this time faster, sharper. But before impact, a sound cut through everything, a signal, the match. Over. Mei stepped forward. Interesting. Her eyes moved between them, then to Atsuki. "Your evaluation." Atsuki paused, thinking, analyzing, then. He's strong. Not enough, but he's hiding something. Naruto didn't react, didn't deny it. May exhaled slowly, we'll see. Because she already knew this wasn't his limit, not even close. Naruto turned away, the test was done, but something about it didn't feel finished. Days passed, then weeks. Naruto adapted quickly. Missions, training, combat, each step pushing him further, each step challenging him. He refused promotion, stayed where he was, close to close to the ground, because rank didn't matter, control did. And his name spread. The White Fox now, an A-rank target. Feared, hunted, watched. Inside a command tent. Naruto stood beside Mai again. May Terumi faced them. We're moving. The room shifted instantly, direct assault. Naruto's eyes narrowed slightly, finally. May continued, your role is infiltration. Mai straightened, Naruto stayed still, Jen in barracks. A pause, you block them. Silence followed because they understood, children, not enemies. You keep them out of the fight, May finished, at all costs. Naruto nodded once. Understood. Mai hesitated, then nodded too. The team was assembled quickly, names, faces, all prepared. They moved ahead of the main force, faster, quieter. Toward war. Elsewhere. Back in Konohagakure. Everything looked normal, too normal. Narumi moved through another mission, routine, repetitive, pointless. Again. Her voice carried frustration. Kakashi Headache sighed lightly. It's part of the job. It's a waste of time. Narumi didn't hide it, didn't care anymore. Beside her, Sasuke Uchiha spoke, you could spend your time better. Narumi didn't look at him, not interested. Sasuke smirked slightly, you will be. Narumi stopped walking, turned her eyes cold, never. The air shifted, even Kakashi noticed. Narumi looked away again. Toward the horizon, beyond the walls, what's out there? Her voice softened, what's he doing right now? What? And at that exact moment, Naruto stopped miles away, mid-step. The connection pulsed violently, stronger than ever. Neither spoke, but both felt it, clear, unavoidable. They were getting closer. And this time, there would be no distance left to hide behind.
Naruto is no longer just surviving, he's stepping into the war, a direct attack on the hidden mist, a mission where one wrong move could turn children into casualties, and yet he accepted it without hesitation. But far away, Naru may feel it, that same pull, the same presence, getting closer, stronger, unavoidable. Two paths that were once broken apart are now colliding at full speed. So the real question is, when Naruto and Narumi finally stand face to face again, will it be a reunion or the beginning of something far more dangerous? Chapter 7 is where the distance disappears.
Chapter 7. War did not begin with a scream, it began with silence. A heavy, suffocating stillness, like the world itself was holding its breath, waiting to see which side would break first, and somewhere within that silence, two hearts pulsed in sync, closer than ever, closer than either of them realized. The rebel army moved before dawn, no hesitation, no second thoughts, because by the time doubt arrived, it would already be too late. At the front, May Terumi stood like a blade drawn from its sheath. Behind her, warriors of desperation, not soldiers, not heroes, people with nothing left to lose. This ends today. Her voice cut through the tension, not loud, but sharp enough to reach everyone. We don't fight for glory. A pause, we fight because there's no other choice. The air shifted, resolve hardened, move. And with that, the rebellion surged forward. They didn't storm the village, they fractured it, splitting into units, each assigned a purpose, each carrying a piece of the war. Naruto moved with one of those pieces. Naruto's squad, the academy. The academy doors burst open, shock rippled through the room, students froze, teachers hesitated, and the rebels took control instantly. This area is secured. The declaration echoed harshly, but no one moved because fear was stronger than orders. Naruto scanned the room, not enemies, children, confusion, uncertainty. We're not here for them. His voice was low, but it carried. Some of the rebels shifted, uncomfortable. But they obeyed. Outside, movement fast organized, they were already surrounded. Naruto exhaled slowly. Now it begins. What? Steel met steel, the battle erupted. Naruto moved like a current through chaos, not reckless, not wild, precise, each strike calculated, each movement efficient. A blade came from the left. He deflected, another from behind. He stepped through it. Bodies fell not dramatically, not heroically, just silently, inevitably. Then, a presence stronger, sharper. A Jonin stepped forward, water gathered instantly, compressed, violent, the attack came fast. Naruto barely avoided it. Good. His eyes narrowed slightly, finally. What? Their blades clashed, hard, unforgiving. This wasn't a skirmish anymore. This was a fight. What? Mai's struggle, the breaking point. Elsewhere, Mai was already reaching her limit, breathing uneven, body strained, too many. But she didn't stop because stopping meant dying. Another opponent rushed her, faster, stronger. Come on, demon. The insult barely registered. Mai moved, lava surged from her palm. Hot, unstable, dangerous. The clash was brutal, close, desperate. Then, a mistake or what looked like one. The enemy struck, clean, decisive. Mai's body fell still, silent. Too easy. What? Then, smoke. The illusion shattered, Mai appeared behind her. One movement, one strike. And it was over. She stood there, breathing hard, shaking slightly. I'm still alive. But barely. What? The village, a war balanced on a blade. Across the hidden mist. Chaos ruled, not victory, not defeat, just collision. The village had numbers, but not loyalty. The rebels had resolve, but not strength. And so, they clashed evenly, violently, waiting. Because everyone knew. This war would not be decided here. It would be decided. At the top, the Mizukage, a monster in human form. Inside the tower. The air was wrong, heavy, oppressive. Yagura stood in silence, small, still. But the moment they entered, the pressure exploded, killing intent flooded the room, crushing, overwhelming. So you finally came. His voice was calm, too calm, good. A faint smile, now I can end this properly. What? And then, he moved. The fight wasn't a battle. It was survival. Naruto awakening under fire. Back at the academy. The Jonin smiled, cruel, confident. Let's end this. Explosive tags hit the ground, too close, too fast. Boom. What? Fire swallowed everything. For a moment, nothing remained. Then, something moved. Naruto stepped forward, unburned, untouched, steam rising from his skin. His eyes, different, darker. The Jonin staggered back. What are you? What? Naruto didn't answer. Because in that moment, he didn't know either. He moved faster than thought. The blade entered Klein. Silence followed. Naruto stood still, looking down. That was close. Too close. But before he could recover, the air shifted again. A presence heavy, crushing, familiar. Something landed nearby. Not loudly, but with weight. Killing intent surged. Far greater than before. Naruto's eyes lifted slowly. And for the first time in this war, he felt it clearly. This is different. Far away. Narumi gasped, her body froze, her heart racing. Naruto. Because whatever had just entered the battlefield was connected to him, and it was coming closer. The moment it happened, no one understood it, not fully, not immediately, but they all felt it. The air changed, not gradually, not subtly, violently. Back in the tower, the plan was already in motion. Mei Terumi and her elite squad moved with precision, forming a tight triangular formation around Yagura. Hands moved, seals formed, perfect synchronization. What are you doing? Yagura's voice twisted with irritation, then rage. You think I'll just stand here? He lunged forward. But the ground erupted, molten, blinding, lava release. Mei's voice cut through the chaos, obsidian coffin. The magma swallowed him whole, burning, sealing, hardening into black stone that locked his body in place, leaving only his face exposed. Now stay still. Mei's tone was almost calm, almost mocking. Cracks formed instantly, the pressure inside the prison. Unnatural, violent. He's breaking it, one of the shinobi shouted. Sweat rolled down Mei's face, her chakra strained, finished the seal. But the resistance was too much. The obsidian shattered. Yagura burst free. Eyes wild, killing intent flooding the room like a tidal wave. Die. He surged forward, straight toward the nearest shinobi. Frozen, unable to move, still locked in the ceiling formation. And then, water rose. A cube dense, condensed, alive. The attack stopped inches from its target. Yagura's arm recoiled as the water burned through his skin. It's over. Mei's voice was colder now, final. This technique doesn't break. The water prison began to close, compressing, shrinking. No escape, no resistance. Yagura's breathing grew erratic, his thoughts fractured. No. I was supposed to win. Hatred surged, desperation twisted. Inside, something answered. A voice ancient mocking, you finally broke. And then, everything collapsed. The seal inside him shattered. The power that had been chained exploded outward. Yagura screamed, then stopped, because he was gone. Something else stood in his place. Chakra flooded the room, thick, violent, demonic. Finally, the voice was no longer human. The water prison evaporated instantly, not broken, overwhelmed. The building cracked, collapsed, exploded outward. And then, it moved. It didn't run, didn't flee. It descended into the lake, and the world changed. The beast awakened. The surface of the water bulged, then erupted. A massive form rose from beneath. Aisabu, the three-tailed beast. Its presence alone crushed the battlefield. Every shinobi, rebel or loyalist, stopped, because in that moment, none of them were enemies. They were survivors, or soon-to-be corpses. So this is how it ends. Someone whispered, but no one ran, because running wouldn't save them. The only option. Naruto arrived moments later, his eyes locked onto the beast instantly, analyzing, calculating. My rush to Mei, what happened? Mei didn't look away, we forced it out. Naruto's jaw tightened, of course you did. The situation was clear, hopeless, unless... I can seal it. Both of them turned instantly. What? Naruto didn't hesitate, but I need time. A pause in a vessel. Silence heavy, unavoidable. Mai shook her head immediately. No. Naruto didn't argue, there isn't another way. Because there wasn't. Then, a voice soft but unwavering. I'll do it. They turned. A girl stepped forward, small, calm, resolved. Megumi. Mai's eyes widened, Megumi. The two embraced briefly. relief colliding with disbelief. May watched carefully, suspicious. You trust her. Mai nodded instantly, with my life. What? Megumi stepped forward again. My family caused this. Her voice didn't shake. Let me end it. What? Naruto studied her, silently, deeply. Then nodded once, then we don't waste time. What? He knelt, scrolls unfurled, ink flowed, seals formed. Each stroke precise, each line. Final. Behind him. The battlefield roared back to life. War against a god. L'attack. May's voice echoed across the lake. And this time, everyone moved together. Rebels, loyalists, survivors. What? Because this wasn't a war anymore. It was extinction. Jutsu collided against the beast, water, fire, earth, lightning. Nothing stopped it. The three tails roared, the lake split, the ground trembled. Shinobi were thrown aside like nothing. Still, they fought, because someone needed to buy time. 2 hours later, the battlefield was unrecognizable. Smoke, blood, water, ruin. Naruto's hands didn't stop moving, not once. The seal neared completion. But the connection, it surged again, stronger than ever. Naruto froze for half a second. Narumi. What? Far away. She dropped to her knees, gasping. Naruto. What? The distance between them was gone, and whatever came next would change everything. The pressure reached its peak, and then it broke. Naruto's hands finally stilled, ink dried, chakra settled. It's done. The words escaped him like a breath he hadn't realized he was holding, for a moment. Just a moment. There was silence inside him. Then reality came crashing back. He rose instantly, scroll already in hand, eyes scanning the battlefield with sharp urgency. Naruto Uzumaki moved toward Mei, Terumi, and Mai. We're ready. Mei's expression was tense. Is it weakened enough? Naruto glanced toward the raging mass of destruction in the lake. The Aisabu was still thrashing, still powerful. But no longer untouchable, not completely. A pause, but it'll have to be enough. What? His gaze hardened, clear the lake. No hesitation, no doubt. Everyone. What? Mei didn't argue, fall back. Her voice cut across the battlefield, and this time, everyone listened. The lake emptied, leaving only chaos, water torn apart, the beast waiting at its center. Naruto turned, the chosen vessel stood before him, silent, resolved. You ready? A single nod, no fear or perhaps too much to show. Then don't move. What? The process began. Shadow clones surged outward, flooding the battlefield, drawing the beast's attention. They moved like distractions. Sacrifices buying seconds. Naruto knelt, ink flowed again. Seals spread across the vessel's body. Complex, layered, precise, every line mattered, every mark. Final. His eyes shifted, the Rinnegan activated. Then he moved. Across the water, up the beast. What? The world blurred beneath him. Come here. His voice was low, but it carried weight. Gravity bent, pulled, forced. The beast resisted, but not enough. Naruto slammed his hands down, then vanished from its back. The lake responded, stones surged upward, crashing down onto the beast, layer after layer. You think this will stop me? The beast roared. Naruto didn't even look up. No. A faint smile, just slow you down. What? The scroll unfurled, seals ignited, symbols spread across the beast's shell. Alive, moving, binding. The battle shifted. The beast fought, the seals held. And then, Naruto returned to the vessel. This is the point of no return. His voice softened slightly, don't resist. What? His hand struck the seal, chakra surged. What? The technique activated. The world seemed to stretch, time slowed. Energy flowed, violent, relentless. The beast's chakra tore free, dragged, forced into a new path. The vessel trembled, barely holding together. Naruto's jaw tightened, almost. The seal burned, glowed, connected. And then, it stopped, silent, the beast, reduced, contained. The vessel collapsed forward, caught by Naruto before hitting the ground. It worked, barely a whisper. But Naruto wasn't done. He turned, the remnants of the beast still lingered. Unstable. I can't leave this behind. His hand rose. And the final seal activated. For a split second, everything froze. Then, boom. The explosion tore through the lake, water surged skyward. Rain fell like shards of glass. And when it ended, the beast was gone. Gone. Silence spread across the battlefield, then cheers and shouts of relief. They had survived. Days later, the village breathed again. Not fully healed, not yet, but alive. Reconstruction began immediately, debris cleared, traitors rooted out, order restored. Piece by fragile piece. And at the center of it all, a new leader rose. May Terumi stood before the village. This ends now. Her voice carried across the broken streets. No more fear. No more bloodline purges. No more lies. Hope answered her. The hidden mist had changed. The next day, Naruto stood inside a temporary office, beside him. Mai in the newly chosen vessel, alive, quiet, watching. May stepped forward, your ranks. Naruto didn't react, didn't care. Janin, a headband tossed toward him, he caught it without looking. Temporary. Naruto nodded slightly, that was enough. You too finish your training. May's gaze shifted to Mai and the vessel, no shortcuts. They agreed because for the first time, they had a future. As they turned to leave, Naruto. He stopped. May's expression hardened. You're not staying at this level. A pause, you're being positioned. Naruto narrowed his eyes slightly. And there's something else. The room shifted again. Your power. Her voice lowered. It will become part of this village. Naruto didn't like where this was going. Which means your clan. The pause needs to grow. Silent. Then, no. Immediate, sharp. May raised an eyebrow. Naruto stepped forward slightly. I'm not turning people into tools. His voice was calm but firm, not for the village. For a moment, the tension spiked. Then, May smiled faintly. Good. Naruto blinked. That's exactly why you're valuable. The pressure faded, but not completely. Just don't lose that. She turned away, you're dismissed. Naruto left without another word. Outside, the air felt different, lighter, but heavier too. Because something else still lingered. That connection. Naruto stopped walking. You're still there. Far away. Narumi looked toward the horizon. I'm coming. Neither knew when. Neither knew how. But now, there was no doubt left. Their paths were about to collide.
The war is over, the three tails has been sealed, and Naruto did not just survive, he changed an entire village. But just when everything should calm down, a new conflict begins because this time it's not about enemies, it's about control. Naruto refuses to become a weapon, refuses to be used ever again, and far away, Narumi can feel him, closer than she's ever been. So now the question is, when these two finally meet again, will it be a reunion filled with regret or a collision that will everything change Chapter 8 is where destiny finally catches up.
Chapter 8. That was the word the hidden mist used now. But peace was a fragile illusion, built on bones, maintained by silence, and guarded by secrets that could shatter everything if exposed. A month had passed since the war ended. The village had been rebuilt, cleaner, stronger, and eerily calmer. Those who once screamed for the extermination of bloodlines, gone, dead, or fled, and just like that, hatred disappeared, not because it was defeated, but because it had been erased. Megumi stood beneath the morning sun, her hand unconsciously resting over the seal on her stomach. The three tails slept within her, a monster, a burden, a weapon, yet strangely, she felt lighter than ever. Because for the first time, no one looked at her like she was something to be feared. Some ignored her, some respected her. Only a few whispered behind her back, but none. None dared call her a monster again. Beside her, Mai adjusted the red ribbon tying her hair, her expression sharp, focused, yet softer than before. Both of them had changed, not just in strength, but in presence. They carried themselves differently now, like survivors, like fighters, like people who had seen the truth of the world and chosen to stand anyway. Last day, Mai muttered, glancing toward the academy. Megumi nodded. Yeah, everything changes after this. Neither of them realized just how true that was. The classroom buzzed with excitement, laughter, anticipation, hope. Something Naruto had long since learned not to trust. The door slid open, and the room froze because it wasn't the teacher who walked in, it was him, Naruto. He looked almost the same, almost taller, sharper, colder. His white cloak flowed behind him like a silent declaration, untouchable, unreadable. But what truly drew every eye were the swords on his back, twin blades, dark, elegant, alive, flashback, the birth of twin dragons. Deep beneath the Mizukage Tower, the air had felt heavy with history. Terumi stood beside Naruto, watching carefully as he approached the legendary swords. One of these will choose you if you're worthy, she had said calmly. Naruto didn't respond, he simply stepped forward, one by one. He tested them, nothing, silence, rejection, until the final blade. Plain, unclaimed, forgotten, the moment his chakra touched it. Everything changed, the blade trembled, cracked, and then split. Two swords, twin weapons, one radiating a wild, untamed force, the other calm, precise, deadly. May had smiled. Looks like it didn't choose a swordsman. She paused, it chose something else. Naruto didn't smile, he simply picked them up and walked away. Naruto moved through the classroom without acknowledging the whispers, without noticing the stares, without realizing how much he stood out now. What are you doing here? Mai asked, confused. Naruto shrugged. Mai wants me to go through the system, Genin, then Chunin exams. Megumi tilted her head slightly. So you don't even know your team? Nope. Oh. Hope flickered in both girls' eyes, dangerous hope. Then the teacher entered, names were called one by one, until Team 8 Naruto, Megumi, Mai. Fate tightened its grip. Their sensei arrived soon after, Yashira, cold, sharp, unforgiving. Her presence alone silenced the room. Follow me. Inside a quiet restaurant, introductions began. Simple, direct, deadly in their honesty. Mai spoke first, then Megumi, both of them, unknowingly revealing far more than they intended. Their glances, their tone, their hesitation around one name, Naruto. Yashira noticed. Naruto didn't. This is going to be troublesome, Yashira thought silently. Later, inside the Mizukage office, Yashira crossed her arms. You didn't tell them about Naruto's situation. Terumi sighed. No. Oh, they both like him. A pause. Of course they do. The next day, everything changed. Is it true? Mai asked, voice tight. Naruto blinked. Yeah. Silence then. Megumi stepped forward, face burning red. Then, would you date us? Naruto froze. What? You heard her, Mai said, forcing confidence. Naruto stared at them, his mind racing, his past screaming, his instincts warning him. This isn't normal, this isn't safe, but for the first time in a long time, he didn't feel alone, yeah. And just like that, a new bond was formed, fragile, complicated, dangerous. A week later. Your mission, Mai said calmly, is to locate and retrieve Zabuza Mamachi and his companion Haku. Naruto's eyes narrowed slightly. Zabuza, a ghost from a broken era. Meanwhile, far away, in the hidden leaf, Give me a real mission, Kiba and Yuzuka shouted. Annoyance, frustration, ego. A C-rank mission was handed out, escort duty. Simple, too simple. Kurenai Yuhai walked calmly beside them, watching, analyzing, waiting. They passed a puddle, still, silent, wrong. Kurenai's eyes flickered, pathetic. The attack came instantly, fast, precise, deadly for a moment. Everything spiraled, illusions, movement, blood. And then, silence again, but Kurenai didn't relax because something felt off, far too coordinated, far too early, as she slowly turned her gaze toward the forest. Her expression darkened. This isn't just a bandit ambush. Miles away. Naruto suddenly stopped walking, his body froze, his breath caught. His eyes widened. As a sharp, invisible force tore through his chest, Narumi. At that exact moment, in the hidden leaf, Narumi dropped to her knees, their connection exploded stronger than ever, closer than ever, uncontrollable, and for the first time. They didn't just feel each other, they saw a flash, a battlefield, a village, blood, power in each other. Narumi's scream hadn't even finished echoing in her mind. When reality snapped back, duck. Kurenai Yuhai's voice tore through the air, instinct took over, bodies dropped, and in the next instant, boom, a massive blade sliced through the space where they had stood, embedding itself deep into a tree with a violent crack. Silence followed, heavy, oppressive, deadly. Well, if it is Konoha's little illusion mistress. A voice cold, amused, and soaked in bloodlust from the mist. He emerged, Zabuza Mamachi. Kurenai's heart skipped. No, not him. Her expression stayed calm. But inside, chaos. Genjutsu won't work, not like this, not against him. How about this? Zabuza continued, resting a hand on his sword. Hand over the old man, and I might let you live. Kurenai stepped forward. No. A mistake, or maybe. The only choice she had. Zabuza's smile widened. Then the kids die first. He moved fast, too fast, steel flashed. But before it could cut, clang, a kunai intercepted the strike. Shinoburam had reacted just in time, deflecting the killing blow. Still. The impact sent them flying. Zabuza didn't stop. His eyes locked onto the smallest figure, Hinata Hyuga. Kurenai's vision went red. She moved, faster than she ever had before. Crash, her kick slammed into Zabuza's chest, launching him straight into a tree. Don't touch my students. Her voice had changed before Zabuza could recover. Darkness swallowed him, Genjutsu, a nightmare, endless, relentless for a brief moment. He froze, a kunai rose toward his throat. Victory. Then, thunk, senbon needles struck his neck, his body went limp, another presence, watching, protecting, Haku. Zabuza's body vanished from the battlefield. Kurenai staggered slightly, breathing hard but still standing. Move. And they did, they ran. 1 week later, the bridge. The air was calm, too calm, workers laughed, voices echoed, hope returned. Until the mist came back, thick, cold, hungry, everyone on guard. Kurenai's voice snapped the illusion. Laughter echoed through the fog. Did you really think you could win? Zabuza's voice everywhere, nowhere, then. Ice style. Before anyone could react. The bridge froze, ice surged upward, locking the genin in place. Only their heads remained free, helpless, exposed. Zabuza's clone stepped forward, blade resting against their throats. Move, and they die. Kurenai froze, her fists clenched, her mind raced, her options. Gone, fine. She dropped her guard. Zabuza smiled, good choice. He raised his blade, charged, die. Clang, the world stopped, a figure stood between them. 2 blades crossed, holding back death itself. Naruto. Moments earlier. The forest blurred as Naruto's team moved at full speed. Yashira scanned ahead, her expression tightening. There. The bridge, the battle, and Zabuza. Damn it, Yashira muttered. If Konoha gets involved, this turns political. Naruto didn't wait, he vanished, back to the bridge. What the hell? Kiba and Yuzuka shouted. No one answered. Naruto didn't even look at them. His gaze stayed locked on Zabuza. You are ordered to return to the hidden mist under the command of the Mizukage. Zabuza scoffed. I don't follow tyrants. Naruto's eyes hardened. He's dead. Silence our Mizukages may Terumi. The battlefield shifted, proof was shown, words exchanged, and slowly, reluctantly, Zabuza stepped back, fine. Oh, but before anything else could happen, a new voice, ugly, greedy, pathetic, Gato, kill the men, take the women. Hundreds surged forward, panic spread, fear took hold until it stopped because something changed. Naruto stepped forward and the air. Died killing intent flooded the battlefield, heavy, crushing, absolute. Some swore they saw death itself standing behind him. You. His voice dropped, twisted, cold, will not touch them. Then, he moved. What followed was not a fight, it was a slaughter. Screams filled the air. Blood painted the ground, bodies fell. One after another. Until only one remained, Gato, begging, crying, breaking. Naruto grabbed him, lifted him. You said you'd give anything. A nod, desperate, good. Minutes later, the map. Everything stolen returned. Naruto smiled, soft, calm. I won't kill you. Relief, hope. They will. He threw him into the crowd and the screams. Didn't stop the next day. Everything was quiet again, too quiet. Conversations returned, smiles came back until truth slipped, the white fox. Hinata Hyuga whispered, shock spread, your HIM. Naruto shrugged, guess so. Confusion, fear, respect until misunderstanding, wait, multiple girls. Kurenai's eyes narrowed, Yashira stepped in quickly, explained, diffused, barely. Naruto sighed, troublesome. 2 days later. The bridge stood complete, let's name it. Inari shouted, voices argued, ideas clashed until Bridge of Peace. Silence then. Agreement because for the first time, they had earned it. Far away. Naruto slowed, that feeling again, stronger, closer, unavoidable Narumi, and this time. It wasn't just a feeling, it was a pull, a direction, a path. His eyes narrowed. So this is where you are. At the same moment, Narumi looked up and whispered, I found you.
Something has changed, and this time it's not just a feeling, it's a collision waiting to happen. Naruto is no longer just a legend, he's choosing his own path, refusing to be anyone happen. Narumi has finally locked onto him, her heartbeat, her chakra, her very soul calling out to his. But just when their reunion feel inventable, a shadow step in between them, watching, waiting, planning. Who is this mysterious figure and why do they want to stop Naruto and Naruto from meeting? Is this reunion destiny or the beginning of something far more dangerous? Stay with me because in chapter 9 everything is about to change.
Chapter 9. The world didn't wait for reunions, it prepared for collisions. The mission was over, the reports were filed, and yet nothing felt finished. Kurenai Yuhai walked away from the Hokage Tower without a word, her expression unreadable, but her thoughts anything but calm. Something was wrong, not with the mission, not with the enemy, but with what came after. Her team split off as usual, routine, normal, expected, but the 3 genin didn't go home, they went somewhere else. The meeting grounds, voices filled the air as the rest of the genin gathered, laughing, eating rice balls, talking about missions, rivals, dreams. A normal day, a peaceful moment, a lie. Hey idiots, but you can't guess who we met. Kiba Inuzuka announced loudly, his grin full of arrogance. A few heads turned, most didn't care. Should we? Sakura Haruno replied flatly, it was probably just some random ninja. Silence then. Not random. Shino Aburam spoke calmly, we encountered the white fox. Everything stopped, you're lying. Ino Yamanaka stood up instantly. No. The confirmation hit harder than any punch. You actually met him. Ino whispered, nods. What was he like? What did he look like? Why was he there? Questions flooded in, curiosity, obsession, something more. Hinata Hyuga answered softly. He never removed his cloak, but everything matches the description. A pause, and he's not being hunted. More silent. He's part of the mist now. That changed everything. So he chose a side, Ino murmured, disappointment slipping into her voice. Kiba scoffed. Who cares? He's not even here. Focus on someone who is. His eyes flickered toward the girls. Unimpressed silence answered him, still. The conversation died down not because they lost interest, but because something deeper settled in. The white fox wasn't a rumor anymore. He was real and he was moving. Hidden mist return of the demon. The gates opened, the mist welcomed them back. Naruto's team moved straight to the Mizuki's office. Mission first, always, sis, we're back. Mai stepped forward, a hint of pride in her voice. Mai Terumi leaned back slightly, eyes sharp as ever, and Naruto stepped aside, revealing Zabuza Mamachi, a ghost returning to life. The room grew heavier. Will you return to the village? Mai asked calmly. Zabuza didn't hesitate. Yes. Then, a warning, if you become like him, I'll end you too. The temperature dropped, killing intent flooded the room. Mai smiled, sweet, terrifying, try. For the first time in a long time. Zabuza felt fear, real fear, understood. The tension broke, barely, rank restored, Mai continued. Jonin. Her eyes shifted, and your partner. Zabuza glanced at Haku, Chunin. Haku caught the vest without a word, just like that. The demon of the mist returned, but this time. Under a different ruler, 1 week later, departure. The village gate stood open again, but this time. It wasn't about return. It was about departure. Ready, Mai asked. Naruto stood with his team, Mai, Megumi, Yashira, and beyond them. A path that led directly toward Konoha. Yeah, Naruto said quietly, but his eyes were somewhere else because that pull, that connection, it hadn't faded, it had grown stronger. Flashback, the truth about Haku. Laughter echoed through the market streets, simple, carefree, almost forgotten. Mai and Megumi dragged Haku from stall to stall, arms full of clothes and supplies. What do you want? Mai asked. Just normal things, Haku replied softly. Kimonos, dresses. Megumi froze, dresses. Silence then. A blush, I never said I was a boy. Realization hit instantly, and then. Laughter, warm, unjudging. You should have told Naruto, Mai said. Haku shook her head. I didn't want to complicate things. A small smile, not yet. Later that night. The restaurant buzzed with quiet chatter. Naruto sat at the table with the others, waiting, then. The door opened and everything stopped. Haku stepped inside, not hidden, not disguised, not pretending, beautiful, unapologetically so. Naruto blinked once, twice. The table went silent. Zabuza looked away, trying and failing to hide a smirk. Mai and Megumi exchanged knowing glances, and Naruto, he looked completely, utterly unprepared, present, the edge of collision. The wind shifted. Naruto stopped walking, that feeling again, stronger, sharper, closer. Narumi. Miles away. Narumi felt it too, not just a presence, not just a connection, a path, a direction, and this time. Something else. Something watching, something waiting. The moment her voice cracked through the air, everything inside Naruto went still, not because of the threat, not because of the tension, but because of her. Naruto stood hidden among the trees, his presence masked, his breathing controlled, yet his heart refused to obey. Narumi Uzumaki, right there, right in front of him, and closer than ever before. Kinkuro clicked his tongue, clearly annoyed, while Temari shifted slightly behind him, her sharp eyes scanning the area. You've got a big mouth for someone from another village, Kinkuro sneered, but there was hesitation now, just enough to be noticed. Narumi didn't move, didn't blink, didn't soften. If you touch him again, she said quietly, her voice dropping into something far colder, you won't leave this place. That wasn't a threat, it was a promise. From the shadows, Naruto felt it, that same fire, that same stubborn defiance, but different, darker, sharper, stronger. She's changed. Oi Kinkuro, Temari muttered again, more urgently this time. We're not here to start unnecessary fights. But Kinkuro's pride had already been bruised. Whatever, he spat, dropping the kid. You got lucky. Narumi didn't respond. She simply guided the frightened child behind her, her eyes never leaving him. And then. Silence, heavy, uncomfortable, charged. Naruto exhaled slowly. I should leave. That was the logical move. That was the smart move. That was the safe move. But his feet didn't move, because at that exact moment. Narumi's head tilted slightly, her gaze shifted directly toward the trees, toward him. Who's there? She asked, her voice cutting through the forest like a blade. Naruto's breath hitched for a split second, just a split second. His control slipped, and Narumi felt it, that presence, that chakra, that familiar, terrifying, comforting presence. Her eyes widened. No way. Inside her mind, the voice echoed, Narumi, that's him. Natsui's tone was low, certain, unshaken. Narumi took a step forward, then another, slow, careful, like approaching something fragile or dangerous. Naruto clenched his fists. Not here. Not like this. But it was too late. The distance between them had already vanished. Not physically, but something far deeper. Narumi stopped just a few steps away from the tree line, her voice softer now, uncertain. Naruto. Time froze, and for the first time since he left. Naruto Uzumaki stood on the edge of a choice he could not run from anymore. Reveal himself. Or disappear again, but before he could decide. A killing intent darker than anything before. Exploded across the forest, not from Kankuro, not from Temari, not even from Naruto, from above. A figure dropped silently onto a branch between them, cloaked, masked, watching, and then a voice cold, emotionless, terrifying. So this is the boy. Naruto's eyes snapped upward. Narumi froze. Even the Sand siblings tensed instantly, because whatever had just arrived wasn't here for a fight. It was here for him, and the moment Naruto felt that presence fully, his blood ran cold because he recognized it. You. The figure tilted its head slightly, almost amused. Yes, the stranger whispered, we finally found you, White Fox. The moment that chilling voice faded into the air, the tension didn't disappear. It thickened, like the world itself was holding its breath. From the shadows above, sand began to shift, quiet, unnatural, alive. And then he appeared. Gaara stepped forward slowly, his pale eyes empty, yet overflowing with something far worse than anger, hunger. Don't worry, Gaara whispered, his voice soft, almost gentle. Your name won't matter when your blood proves that I exist. A silence fell over the forest. Even the wind seemed to retreat. That's Temari stiffened, her voice tight with unease. Gaara, how long have you been here? Gaara didn't look at her, didn't acknowledge her. His eyes remained locked on one person. Naruto. Long enough, he replied quietly, to see weakness and to find purpose. His lips curled into something that almost resembled a smile. I'll see you in the exams. And just like that, he was gone, but the feeling he left behind, it didn't fade, it lingered, like death had just brushed past them and decided to wait. Naruto exhaled slowly, his grip tightening beneath his cloak. That guy, he's dangerous, not just strong, not just unstable, but something deeper, something broken, and somewhere nearby. Narumi stood frozen, her heartbeat no longer steady. Because now, there were two forces pulling her forward, Naruto and something far darker, the written test, a battlefield without blood. The next day arrived like a calm before a storm. Inside the academy, tension crackled in the air. Genin from every village gathered, some whispering, some boasting, others silently observing. Narumi and her team entered the building and immediately stepped into a genjutsu trap. Most didn't notice, most couldn't, but Narumi did, and so did Sasuke Uchiha. Pathetic, Sasuke muttered, eyes narrowing. He stepped forward, only to be yanked back by his collar. Not our problem, Narumi said coldly, dragging him past the confused crowd, inside the real room. The atmosphere shifted again, heavier, sharper. Across the room, Naruto stood silently beside Mai and Megumi, mask on, presence suppressed, but still dominant. A few arrogant genin released their killing intent. Trying to intimidate, trying to assert dominance. It lasted less than a second. Mai, Megumi, Naruto, their combined pressure crushed the room. Silence fell, cold, absolute. Fear spread like wildfire, and in that moment, Narumi felt it again, that same presence, that same pull. Her eyes shifted. Slowly, it's him. The game begins. Then, the door slammed open. Ibiki Morino stepped inside, scars, cold eyes, authority. Listen carefully, he said, his voice cutting through the room. You have 1 hour, 10 questions, 10 points. Get caught cheating, you lose points. Lose them all, your team fails. A pause, a smirk. Begin. The moment the test started, chaos began, not outside, but within minds. Naruto didn't hesitate. This isn't a test of knowledge, it's a test of intelligence and deception. His fingers moved subtly. A seal, a whisper, a thin stream of water slithered across the floor. Invisible, silent, within seconds. It returned, answers secured. Naruto completed his test effortlessly, then glanced sideways. Mai and Megumi, nervous, hesitating. A sigh escaped him. You too. Another seal, another snake, another silent success. Narumi's realization. Across the room. Narumi stared at her paper, frustration building. These questions are impossible. Then, clarity struck. They want us to cheat. Her eyes scanned the room, signals, patterns, movements, and then a voice inside her mind. Narumi listened carefully. Laino. Answers began to flow, quick, precise. Narumi wrote, fast, efficient, but even as she finished, her thoughts drifted back to him, the white fox, the boy who stood silent yet dominated the room. It has to be him. Her eyes narrowed, determined. I'll find out, even if I have to rip that mask off myself. And just as that thought settled, Ibuki's voice echoed again, time S up. But the real test hadn't even begun yet. Narumi's eyes didn't leave him, not even for a second. Inside her mind, the voice returned, low, certain, almost trembling with anticipation. Yes, Kit, that's him, Natsui whispered. I can feel it, that chakra, it hasn't changed. Narumi's fingers tightened slightly. But we can't act blindly, Natsui continued. We need proof. Tear off that mask or force his teammates to slip, or make someone who knew him confirm it. Narumi gave the faintest nod. I'll find out no matter what. The final question. The room fell silent as Ibuki Morino stepped forward again. There's only one question left. His voice was calm, too calm, but before that you must choose. A pause, a smirk. If you answer this final question incorrectly, you fail. Not just today. Forever. The words slammed into the room like a shockwave. You will never be allowed to take the Chunin exams again. Fear spread instantly, palpable, heavy. What? That's insane. One genin shouted. Ibuki didn't flinch. So what? He replied coldly. They didn't have me as the examiner. Decide. One by one. Teams began to drop out, hands raised. Dreams abandoned. Ibuki watched them like a predator, waiting, calculating. Then he pushed harder. Think carefully, he said, voice lowering. You're young, you're weak, you could die in the next stage. Why not quit now and live to try again? More hands, more footsteps, more silence, but then a voice cut through everything. Would you just get on with it already? Every head turned. Naruto stood there, arms relaxed, gaze steady behind his mask. Your scare tactics aren't working anymore, he continued calmly. So stop wasting time and give us the question. A ripple went through the room, shock, annoyance, respect. Ibuki's eye twitched slightly, damn brat. The tension he had built shattered in an instant. Fine, he muttered, then louder. Last chance. Anyone else want to quit? Silence, no one moved. Ibuki exhaled, and then he smiled, good. A pause, you all pass. Confusion exploded instantly. Wait, what? Kiba and Yuzuka shouted. What about the 10th question? Ibuki slowly removed his head covering, revealing the scars beneath. This was the test. His voice turned serious, heavy. A shinobi must gather information under pressure. Must risk everything, even their future. And must decide when to gamble and when to stand firm. Narumi's eyes narrowed, so that's it. But before Ibuki could continue, crash, the window exploded inward, glass scattered, wind rushed in, and then she appeared. Anko Mitarashi landed in the center of the room, grinning wildly. A banner pinned behind her with kunai fluttered. Second examiner, Anko Mitarashi. Well, look at this, she said, scanning the room with sharp eyes. Seems like you've gone soft, Ibuki. Too many teams passed. Ibuki shrugged slightly, or maybe they're just stronger this year. Anko laughed, a wild, dangerous sound. Good, she said, that just means more fun for me. She turned to the genin. Eyes gleaming, listen up, brats. Second test, training ground 44. You've got 10 minutes. If you're late, you fail. And just like that. She vanished, silence, then chaos. Genin scrambled, shouting, running, panic spreading like fire, but not everyone, Naruto. My Megumi. They didn't run, they disappeared, Shunshin. A ripple of mist, and they were gone. The remaining genin froze for a moment, staring. Did they just? Since when can genin move like that? Fear returned stronger than before. The forest awaits. Outside, the wind shifted. Naruto landed silently at the edge of training ground 44, the forest of death. Behind him, Mai and Megumi appeared. Naruto didn't speak, didn't move, because something felt. Wrong, not just dangerous, not just intense, but familiar from deep within. That same connection surged again, stronger than ever. Narumi, and this time. It wasn't just pulling him toward her, it was warning him. Naruto's eyes narrowed beneath the mask. They're here. Mai frowned. Who? Naruto's voice dropped, cold, certain. The ones who were watching me before. The air grew heavier. Because somewhere inside the forest of death, hidden beyond sight, multiple killing intents ignited at once, and all of them were locked onto a single target, Naruto.
That's all for now. If you enjoyed, then please like, share and do comments.